13 Going on 30 Review. I'm still delighted by how Jennifer Garner's rom-com beautifully maintains what girls can lose in adulthood. Some may not be aware there's a little something extra at the very end of the credits for 13 Going on 30. It's not an extra scene in the vein of the Marvel Cinematic Universe's signature stingers, some of which have included 13 Going on 30 star Mark Ruffalo, but audio of teenage girls gleefully singing along to Love is a Battlefield, much like in an earlier scene in the movie. I only just noticed this while rewatching the movie and was delighted by all it represents. Gary Winnick's 13 Going on 30 is often regarded as one of the most beloved rom-coms of the early 2000s, and for good reason. At the same time, there's so much more going on in this movie that resonates even now. Beyond the hilarity of its body swap premise, the sweetness of its central romance, which we can admit is a little weird when looked at closely, and its absolutely perfect thriller scene, 13 Going on 30 is a refreshing celebration of girlhood and staying true to yourself, especially in the face of growing up. Jennifer Garner is why 13 Going on 30 works so well. It all begins with 4 simple words: 30, flirty, and thriving. 13-year-old Jenna Rink, Krista B. Allen, unsatisfied with her life as an awkward and unpopular kid, repeats the phrase over and over after being humiliated by the cool kids at her own birthday party. Aided by some unexplained magic seemingly woven into the gift from her best friend, Jenna wakes up in a gorgeous New York City apartment. Now 30 years old and working as an editor at her favorite magazine. It's a dream come true until it's not. 13 Going on 30 is far from the first movie to imagine someone waking up in another body, or even someone waking up several decades older. Nevertheless, it approaches the concept with a refreshing energy that doesn't shy away from the silliness of the idea. It helps that Jennifer Garner, as the 30-year-old Jenna, brings a bright-eyed enthusiasm to the part that instantly makes her lovable, even when she's making us cringe. Garner has perfect comedic timing and effortlessly moves between childlike innocence and heartfelt earnestness. 13 Going on 30 is a beloved rom-com for a reason. Watching this movie in 2025 does require some suspension of disbelief, and not just as it pertains to the main plot device. The idea that Jenna, as a 30-year-old, could have the apartment and job that she does is a touch absurd, but one could say that's the magic of the early 2000s. In a way, it's also magical that 13 Going on 30 manages to sell Jenna's romance with her childhood best friend Matt Ruffalo, considering she has the mind of a teenager while he's an adult. I realize that, by pointing this out, I might seem like I'm trying to cancel this movie, but that's not the case at all. It's very easy to root for Jenna and Matt, both because their story, which sees the two reconnect after a years-long rift, is satisfying, and because Garner and Ruffalo have beautiful chemistry that evokes the sweetness of young love. Jenna and Matt were thick as thieves as teens, but they've grown apart in adulthood due to the former's increasing popularity and ruthlessness. As Jenna grapples with the reality of who she grew up to be, her renewed connection with Matt allows her to hold on to who she truly is. That Jenna embraces it all and gets back in touch with herself, all while falling in love with a very dreamy Mark Ruffalo, is a beautiful arc that I'm sure hits home for many women watching today. And that's really where the heart of the rom-com lies. Jenna's romance with Maddie is a big part of her story, but it doesn't overshadow her personal and professional journey. At the start of the movie, Jenna thinks growing up will fix all her problems, and that there isn't any part of her 13-year-old self that's worth keeping. However, some harsh realities about her friendship with former popular girl Lucy, Judy Greer, and her status at fashion magazine Poise make her realize she has more strength than she realizes. That was what stood out to me the most during this 13 Going on 30 rewatch. Jenna learns to value her kindness, her creativity, and her big heart, which are often things girls feel they have to leave behind as they get older. That Jenna embraces it all and gets back in touch with herself, all while falling in love with a very dreamy Mark Ruffalo, is a beautiful arc that I'm sure hits home for many women watching today. The movie might hold some flaws, sure, but it's a comforting flick that will continue to stick with audiences.